A couple of weeks back, I made a video where we looked at the question of would it be worthwhile? Would we even want to do it to make ComicsGate a publishing company? What would that look like? What would be the pros and cons? My conclusion was it's better for us to stay independent. We're more versatile that way. We're all doing our own kind of things or the way of doing business, and we can find new ways of doing things a lot easier and a lot better if we're kind of out for ourselves, so to speak, keep nimble on our toes. But that doesn't mean that there are things that we should completely disregard. I got some really good comments on that video about, yeah, okay, maybe you have a point. Like getting everyone in Comicsgate together under one umbrella would be a bit like herding cats. Could you imagine the infighting? But that doesn't mean you need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are things that Comicsgate faces. I mean, not just Comicsgate, obviously, anyone trying to sell books off the internet, off YouTube, but we are sort of in this thing together. We want to see CG rise. We want to see it prosper. We want to see it get bigger and better. So there are certain things that are kind of holding us back, and things that we can do that will be for the betterment of us all. And so I saw a tweet today and it reminded me of this topic. And I thought I have wanted to make a video on this for a while. So I thought, why not we look at probably let's look at two, but also most importantly, the biggest hurdle, the biggest roadblock facing Comicsgate today. Now, there's a couple of things that always crop up. CG YouTube, we're sort of stuck in a bit of a bubble here. There's people out there, lots of people who read and buy comics who just haven't heard of us yet because they're just not here. They don't know what's going on because they're not on YouTube. They're not on Twitter. So they just don't know that all this stuff exists. There's guys like Ripper has really, kind of thrown a massive, awesome monkey wrench in all that by just exposing this world to a whole range of new people who never knew of it before. So there's that. There's ongoing printing issues. For anyone who follows creators, you'll often hear us, I mean, certainly from me, but from plenty of others, grumble about ongoing printing issues. Then there is shipping as well. Now, there's other thing that does seem to pop up, which I don't think is a really massive issue, which is like the anti-CG narrative. Like I said, there's so many people out there who they're not on Twitter. They don't follow Culture War or anything like that. I don't actually think that is too big of an issue. It's it can become an issue if you it's sort of like you get from that what you give. And people are, I was seeing just recently, just this weekend, the CG is in force out at a major convention. And for the most part, it's been no problems at all. People don't care because people don't know. It's only a tiny percent of people who are really out there screaming, Comicsgate is a hate group. We got to block these. Really, when you come down to the total number of people who are interested in comic books, that is a tiny minority of people who are out there behaving like that. But even just so people are getting into conventions and things like that. That's starting to take place. That's great. That's something that we can do. Other things like getting into stores, that's going to take a little bit longer. That's got more to do with building an audience, getting a back catalog together, getting actually creating some interest so that people would want to and it'd be worthwhile for them to put these things into stores. That is going to take a bit more time. And, for that to take place, that's more of just about Comicsgate has to stay the course, keep doing what we're doing, keep producing awesome books, and keep expanding the audience. But there are, like I said, I mentioned a couple of them earlier. There are some things that we can work right now to improve and try and move these roadblocks out of the way, or at least minimize them a little bit. The number one thing, something that we can do that I haven't really seen many people do is sort of band together for the printing. Now, anyone who follows updates or anything like that knows that everyone is kind of going to different printers, figuring it out on their own. And there's a lot of people who have to sort of learn the lessons of like who to go to and what to do and everything themselves each time. And it's kind of like a bit of a redundancy happening. And yeah, like here in Australia, I managed to find a printer. This is after much trial and error. Rob gave me the suggestions of a printer. I went to another printer. Issues happen. I ended up finding a printer who is just amazing. And, I went with him, no problems. Rob went with him, amazing. And now the Bartons have gone with him for Kozor. And look, I'm not that's great. Okay, cool. Things running smoother, great. But maybe in the States, because there's so many of you guys printing comics in the States, is it possible that you kind of like band together and say, go to a printer sort of as a group and say, look, we're estimating that we're going to be printing, X number thousands of comics a year. Do you want our business and how can you help us? Like a lot of the times, the biggest issue is like we're such small fry when we're individually. We're talking 500 books, sometimes even less than that, even 1,000 books. It's nothing to these guys. You get put to the back of the line. The quality control doesn't really happen. Months and months and months of delays because you're a small fry. Well, instead of going to these guys and saying, look, I want you to print 500 books. So what if it's like, hey, a bunch of us are here. We're all willing to go with you. We like the quality of your prints. But, over the course of the year, we're talking 50,000 books or more. I don't know what it would be. What can we do there? Is that something that we should go out and, try and figure out? I know that, you look at big companies like DC and Marvel, for the most part, from what I hear, they're all printing through their selected printer. That's an account. So that would be an interesting way for us to kind of band together for the betterment of all without actually becoming a single entity. But really, let me bring up this tweet here. Actually, here it is here, right there from Rainey. Here she is saying, hey, I'm looking for some help. Is there anyone out there in the UK or Canada willing to help me with distribution? Please DM if available. Fulfillment and especially international orders is killing me. Any help appreciated. I can feel it. I can hear it in that tweet somehow. The pain. Anyone who's had to deal with international shipping knows what a headache this can be and what a massive cost it can be. These numbers do not stay the same month to month. A lot of the times they fluctuate. They went up crazy during the peak of lockdown. They sort of come back down a little bit, but they're still insanely high. In my opinion, this is the number one roadblock preventing ComicsGate from growing and getting out there and finding new readers. And this is an issue for those within the US trying to ship internationally, and it's an issue for those of us who are outside the US trying to ship to the US and other international destinations as well. I think I need about 90 or so of my orders were domestic to my country. So it is a massive issue that is out there. But this is something that I think we can work towards addressing, or at least easing a little bit. And I think so many of us are sort of go on our own and that's the way it is. That's how much international shipping costs. But we have a good network here of people. Surely there are people out there who are willing to help. Help ease the load, figure this stuff out, help with distribution, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know why it's taking. Well, maybe I kind of do. There's sort of trust issues and quality control issues, but surely this is stuff that we can figure out together. I know at my end. Okay, let's talk about shipping from Australia internationally. I went and procured a business deal with our local, I say local, national, Australia Post. And that was, we were able to drop the shipping rates down by probably over half for international orders, which is massive. And not only that, more importantly, We were able to get a deal where the shipping is calculated by exact weight. Normally, a lot of the times there's these brackets, these horrible brackets. And they, of course, it's like as soon as you jump over just like one small amount, bang, you're paying for this, everything else that you're not going to be using. And it really is prohibitive to like making cool stuff. You can only really, I gotta watch my page count because I don't want the book to be too heavy. Otherwise, I'm going to be paying 3 times as much shipping, or asking the backers to pay 3 times as much shipping. It wasn't working. So yeah, we procured this deal. Rob and I got in on it, so now we're both using it. And that's like, yeah, 2 people banding together. We're not the same business, but we're banding together to make it more affordable for people to back our books. Now, as opposed to $20, $25 shipping from Australia to anywhere in the world, we can get this thing down to 15. I know a guy like Kimasabi, he's doing it through RJ of Critical Blast. I believe he got some of his books, the international shipping, down to $8 through distribution. By finding someone local who can help them out at that level. I've actually been doing this as a sort of just on a kind of case-by-case basis. Anyone who asks, I will help them out. And yeah, it's like we've only just started. I know there's guys like Hockey who are doing this here in Australia, but what we really need is we need guys pretty much all around the world who are willing and able to do this. Because if you look, so this is I'll just give a shout out to Rini here. This is Fiendish Chapter 2 Origins. This is available to sign up. I do believe she's over 1,000 signups now, which is crazy. This is going to be a massive campaign when it launches. But I want to show you guys. So this is the issue. This is what stops so many people backing. And I know, a lot of we say like a lot of the people who back books in CG are based in the US. Sure, yes, that is true. The majority are. But is that in part due to the fact that a 20-page book here is costing $35 US to ship? I would love to back She again. I was so happy with my first time that I got it. I kind of bit the bullet on it and paid this massive amount of shipping. I was happy to do it. She was awesome. But I just can't continue justifying that each and every time. Now, if that's me, how many others out there they're not backing books because of this issue? I would love to back Graham Nolan, Aaron Lopresti, all these guys. The shipping is just prohibitive. Imagine if these guys can find someone like me or someone else in Australia, Canada, UK, to be able to distribute these books and get the shipping down. That would be incredible. Even like I checked this on Ripper. Check this out: $35 book, $45 shipping to Australia, and this is in US dollars. So in Australia, that's probably like, I don't know, $130 Australian dollars for one book. Yeah, like I don't even want to know how many potential international customers that has prevented this prohibitive shipping cost. For Ripper, it's like I couldn't help him. There would be too many people. But that's something for him to think about for the future, is finding a book distributor, a professional book distributor in major countries where these things sell. We'll check out that later. I've got some stats up. But it would be worth it, I reckon. What you do is you ship them over bulk in one package. It's a little bit expensive, but it is way more cost effective than sending these things individually internationally. And then they get unpacked here and sent out domestically. That's what we've been doing. That's what I will be doing for Terror in the Trenches for Von Klaus. Now it's not super cheap. You guys probably look at this in America and think, wow, this is still really expensive, and it is, but it's a lot cheaper than $35, which is about how much you're gonna pay in the United States Postal Service is going to charge you to ship a single book internationally. I don't want any of these guys losing their shirts over this, but there has to be, and there is, a better way of doing it. And Von, It's expensive shipping, but hey, I'm happy to pay it. At least it isn't higher than the actual product itself. These are my insights here from my campaign. Let's look it out. So yeah, okay. US is the majority. Then there's Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Germany. Maybe you guys have slightly different ones, but like these ones at least here, maybe, I don't know, Ireland, I don't know. Like, can we not find someone that we can trust and use to distribute books? Everyone sends their books to this guy or couple of people, I don't know, in these countries. The savings that could be made on shipping, and that means more backers. Like I said, I've already done it for PTP. I've done it for Nathan Rosario on the book Stump. I've done it for Matty Fowler. And yeah, some of those guys, I know Patrick on the first time, he did it during the lockdown, ended up saving close to $1,000 in shipping that he would have otherwise had to pay, because the shipping costs went up so high after his campaign ended. And if this thing stabilizes, then yeah, things can be planned out, and those savings can be passed on to the backers, more backers overall. I know Hockey is also a guy who's doing this here in Australia. I mean, it's no skin off my nose. However it happens, I don't care. I'm not looking to make money off doing this. I don't want to become, I don't want to start a distribution company, but I'm happy to help out anyone who asks. And yeah, look, I think as far as hurdles in ComicsGate goes, this is probably one of our number one roadblocks that I think we can figure out. I would love by the end of this year if everyone is at least who's offering international shipping has at least look into this. I know there's guys like John and Ethan who actually end up, they charge a little bit more for domestic and end up just taking a hit on the international. And that's how they maintain those good numbers to international sales. I think Shane has his own distribution deal that he has because Yanzi, that they have their own company where they ship things. But for that leaves hundreds and hundreds of people out there, creators, who could look into, how can I get these international shipping prices down? Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you found this informative. If you enjoyed it, please do please do leave a like. Why can I never say this right? Subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a member. I will see you guys soon. All right, that's it. Bye.